Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and this is Westworld, Season 3, Episode 1, Parce Domine. What the hell does Parce Domine mean? I actually had to look that up because my Latin's a little bit rusty at this point in time. So it means spare Lord, spare your people, do not be angry with us forever, which is pretty telling as to where we're going with this season. Let me take care of some business first, then we'll get into it. If you like what you see, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, you're going to see a video pop up here at the very end of this video. Basically, what YouTube does, it takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible. One of the videos, my vast video library, and pops up there just for you. Up here is going to be Saturday morning blast off, is what's going to be up there. Also, if you want to know when I'm on live again next, you can hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule that I have set up there. I change it out every Monday, and I also mirror it on my Facebook page as well. I wasn't sure on the time on this one, so I actually had to change it to 7:25. I didn't realize it was running to 7:15. So I wanted to give people enough time to watch it, and I know a lot of us stream it, things like that. I stream it as well, so and also get a chance to watch the trailer for next week as well, which has a lot of stuff going on in there. Hopefully, you stay till after the credits of Westworld as well for the first episode, because there was a huge scene after the credits, which I'll talk about in a little bit here. What else is there? I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, I have a Patreon page. No tiers set up as of yet. There's also a Facebook group page, which you guys can post stuff on and chat amongst yourselves. All right, with that said, let's get to this. Spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the episode. If you have not seen the episode, go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video you can comment down below in the comment section. Thank you, Viking Bitch, for the paddle. All right. Yeah, we already know that you've got Fenobi tied up someplace, Viking Bitch. It's not a problem. We kind of figured that's the case already. All right. So we see this white background with a weird, and I'm guessing this is the algorithm of a certain AI that we see later on, that's saying that there's an anomaly out in out in China, and there's this dude who is pretty upset because he wants to sell his shares of Delos. He is a founding, he's a large shareholder, is what it is. And after the whole massacre, he does not want to have any more Delos stock. But of course, everyone's frozen everything, and he has to wait in line like everyone else. So his accountant tells him, and he's like, "That's the reason why I pay you. Get it fucking done, so I don't have to wait in line." Yeah. And he goes to bed at night and all this stuff, and he wakes up. We start seeing that the thermostat changes and things like that. And Dolores ends up paying a visit, and we find out his name is Jerry, and she's stolen all his money, and she straps a pair of glasses to his face, and he most likely killed his first wife. And so the glasses that she strapped to his face makes him see all this stuff as it's going on. And she also needs his fingerprints, his biometrics, basically, to give her access to decrypt some files that he took while he worked at Insight. He used to work over at Insight and kept a couple of confidential files that she needs in order to build, as she puts it, a new species. She's the last of her own species and needs those files to build them. So, of course, we have everything going on all at once here. And it's nice to see everything all inside the same timeline. Yeah, it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy, where Jerry slipped, or not slipped, he went headfirst into the pool and cracked his head open and died, just like his first wife did, because supposedly she was drinking. Yeah, we know all that one. So the next anomaly we see is in LA, and Caleb is talking to someone named Francis on the phone, and he works with a robot named George, and Caleb's implant has been turned off, whatever that means. We don't know what the implants are. And we see that his mother's in an expensive nursing home, and basically he needs money in order to take care of her. Otherwise, they're going to move her to a state-run facility. And so he's taking on illegal jobs on the side to make cash. He's former military. We get this, we get this. And one of the jobs that he's doing is to basically bust into an ATM and steal the cash box from that. And basically, he's picking jobs from a phone, is what he's doing at this point, these illegal jobs. So it's kind of like the dark web is already on the phone. I know that it's supposed to be set in like 2058, if I remember correctly, is what uh, Jonathan Nolan has said at this point, is that it's set in 2058. So that's where we're set at. So we see Charlotte, and it's a couple of months, about 6 months after the whole massacre thing, and she ends up joining the Delos board to discuss how Delos is going to proceed after the park massacre. And the board member, the other board member, head board member, I should say, which is, of course, is William, has given his vote to a AI proxy, is what's going on. And basically, the AI proxy will agree to anything that Charlotte says, is what I'm guessing. And she decides to keep producing robots for other markets. They're actually going to do some other markets, which means Dolores's army is going to be built by Delos, of course. So we see Bernard out on a farm slash slaughterhouse. I guess that's the farm to table is where we're getting at that point. He is posing as Armand Delgado, and he keeps running self-diagnostics to see if anyone has been tampering with the system, which of course they haven't. And he's questioning himself as he's doing this. He keeps pushing a button, and he's answering the questions that he poses to himself, which is kind of interesting. Dolores, in the meantime, is in a London party posing as Laura, and she's dating this guy named Liam, who is the head of Insight. And she's hobnobbing, of course, with all the people there. And we get, Liam gets word that he needs to start. Basically, there's another group that wants to meet with him, and he needs to meet tomorrow in LA. So he invites her out there to go with him, and she's like, "All right, I'll go. I've got other stuff to do, but sure, I'll go." Excuse me. Caleb, in the meantime, is in his therapist's office and talking about the program. And the therapist is saying, "I don't have time to see you. That's why, this is kind of inconvenient. That's what the program's for, all this stuff. And why aren't you talking to Francis? Francis is pretty much, he knows you. We've gone through all this." And yeah, that's pretty much his therapist is at a dead end. So therapy, as we see in the future, is kind of a dead end for him at this point. And we see as he leaves, he takes another job on the side, one of these side jobs that he's been doing. So the Dolores arrives with Liam to Insight, and he shows her. So his dad, Liam's dad, was the one that basically invented the AI called Rehoboam. Sorry, I'm gonna, it's a German name anyway. And it's this giant sphere that's sitting in the middle of this building, and basically it has trillions of thinking of thoughts per second is what's going on. And that is pretty much what saved the world from environmental disaster, was this robot, this AI. And pretty much everything is built upon it. This entire world is built upon this AI. And yeah, Liam ends up having to leave for a meeting, and of course Dolores ends up hijacking a motorcycle to follow him over there. And we see her just with ease. She rents an apartment within the building that the meeting's taking place. And she's able to spy on him. She's sitting above and listening in on his meeting with Martel, who is talking about discrepancies in the data, and that if he doesn't play along, if he's using Railbon, to spy on them, they're going to kill him just like they did his father, essentially. Yeah. So Bernard, of course, ends up getting found out who he is by two guys out in the slaughterhouse, and there's a bounty on his head, and they're going to collect on it. And Bernard basically says to his other self, "Take care of them, just don't kill them." I don't. They have family kind of thing, and he hits the button and beats the fuck out of these two guys. So we see that he is actually two split person. He's actually controlling the two split personalities now that were set up in season 1 and season 2. I feel bad for Bernard, really, I do. He got the worst end of all of this shit. So Caleb, in the meantime, doesn't get the job that he was interviewing for, and we're kind of splitting back between him and Dolores. Dolores, finds out that Liam had been locked out of Railbond by his father's partner when Liam's dad had died. And before she's trying to find out who in the hell this partner is, and before he can tell her, Liam's bodyguard tases her, knocks her out, drugs her, and says, "You know what? She's good. She's really good. She almost fooled me. She got through the labs once, but not the second time around. I don't know who she is, but she's not who she claims to be. She took on someone else's identity. We're going to clean up this mess," kind of thing. And they load her into a hovercraft copter, if you will, and they take off. And Caleb, in the meantime, takes another job, which kind of coincides with this. So he gets a car with a little baggie. He ends up at the landing pad that Dolores is being brought to, and he leaves the car there and gives them the bag, and he walks away. And the bag actually has drugs in it. They take her to a different location, and they inject her with two things, which basically it's supposed to kill her. And of course, she doesn't die. And another car shows up. Yeah. They another car shows up, and it's got a double of the bodyguard of Liam's bodyguard in there. And that's when Dolores breaks free of her bonds and kills everybody in the car, kills everybody outside the car, basically kills everybody except for the bodyguard. He escapes and starts running, and she chases him down. In the meantime, Caleb is talking to Francis on the phone again, and realizes, well, he's known this all this time, that the Francis he's talking to, this is part of the program, is actually an AI program. Francis died while he was overseas, all that kind of stuff. And he unsubscribes from the program. It's not helping him. And he's actually thinking about committing suicide at one point, too, which, is bad. But he ends up walking back to the landing pad, and, he's walking back that way. So Dolores ends up catching up to the bodyguard, finds out that the other owner, the other head of Insight, is called Sirac, and he's the guy who runs the system. And she has the bodyguards double kill him and drag his body away. And of course, she's injured, and she gets attacked by some more of Liam's guys, and fights them off. She kills all of them, but she's pretty badly wounded and ends up going back towards the landing pad. And Caleb sees her inside the tunnel there, and she's pretty badly hurt, asks her if she needs some help, and she collapses in his arms. And then we see Bernard, of course, hiring a ship to go back to Westworld at this point. Now, if you stayed through the end of the credits, like I've learned to do now, you got to see Maeve wake up. And she's got a gun in her hand, and a couple of dudes that are dead in the room, and one guy tied to a chair who's gotten the fuck beaten out of him, and her knuckles are all bloody because she's the one that's done it, and he's speaking German. She opens up the window and sees that she's in a town that has been taken over by Nazis. So it's Nazi Germany, or World War II is what is going on there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Nazi world at this point. It was one of those weird things, and that's how we left off. Now, if you actually watch the trailer for season 2, for excuse me, not season 2, for episode 2, we see who Charlotte actually has inside of her, because it's not Charlotte, of course. Dolores has reprogrammed her, and it might be Teddy that's stuck inside Charlotte now. Because you're wondering where the fuck is Teddy at this point? And Teddy might be inside Charlotte. Yeah. So Teddy's also gotten the short end of the stick too, quite a bit, especially from Dolores. Oh, and one of the things that she told Liam's bodyguard, Dolores did, was that the old gods were coming back, and that they're very angry. And she was fixating a lot on God and humans' perceptions of God and things like that. She even talks about it at the party, that there's a 1.5-inch section of the human brain that was developed specifically because of the belief in God. and all of that. That's where that resides, and yeah, it's just kind of an odd thing that she's fixated on that. So, uh, and very interesting. So she also wants to shut down Rehoboam to because basically it runs everything, and she I don't think can do anything with Rehoboam. Um, basically tracking her every move or anticipating her every move. So she needs to shut that down. That's the reason why. Yes, he does have no stick. Funny Viking bitch. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Got it. So good episode. I mean, good starting off episode. It was very linear this time around. Like they said, this is a not a reboot really. It's basically a restructuring of the story. How they're telling the story now is that it's more linear and it's all taking place in one time. And we're actually seeing, I think, the anomalies that we're seeing in that white space is actually Rehoboam tracking these anomalies and trying to make sense of it with Dolores anticipating it as well and skirting around them. That's why they're coming up as anomalies. It's not something that Rehoboam was actually able to predict. And yes, Ed Harris will be back too. Yes, he definitely will. Hey, Joker. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening this season. I'm glad the show is back. This show is awesome. It really is. Yeah, and Aaron Paul, I thought it was kind of funny him looking for work all the and getting rejected. And I was like, that's kind of like what's been going on with you acting wise, right? I know you took a little time off, but then coming back, you're like, well, what project should I be doing? And you know, yeah, yeah, we do have a lot of lurkers. Come on into the chat. We won't harm you or bite you or anything like that. It's a nice chat that we have here. So yeah, it's too early to tell how this is, compared to season 2. Uh but I'm already liking the linear I liked the time jumping as well. Don't get me wrong. I liked season 1 and season 2 and I just like the world they put in there. Numbers in the room, Joe Greer? I don't understand what that is. The number 12? I don't know. Oh. Oh, the number of people in the room. Okay. Yeah, there's 11 people in here. That's all. There's not a lot of people, but still. Viking Bitch says Aaron Paul's been working steadily. He was in a Hulu series for 3 seasons called The Path, and he was in BoJack Horseman. Oh, okay. I haven't seen him because I just don't subscribe to Hulu until Future Man is on, and that's the only thing I subscribe to Hulu for. Yeah, Hulu. If you actually just gave us, Future Man as a season pass or something like that, I would just buy the season pass because honestly, I cared nothing for any of the other stuff you got going on. Yeah, it was. It was kind of refreshing not to be jumping in around time. How many days until Future Man? It's April something. It's on my schedule. If you take a look at the schedule of shows on suspendedfanimation.com, you'll see what the starting date is for Future Man, but it is in April, the beginning of April. I think it's like April 4th or something like that. And I can't remember if Hulu actually dumps everything all at once or if they go episode by episode. I think they dump everything all at once, if I remember correctly. So we'll see from there. Yeah. Tommy from Sons of Anarchy. Oh, he's in it? Okay. Whatever. Yeah. Yeah. I'd rather go episode by episode, tell you the truth. That actually gives it a little bit of a longer life instead of just dumping it because then people binge watch it and forget it. Kind of like Altered Carbon season 2, you know? Oh, I'm gonna do weekly reviews. It's the final season of Future Man. I don't give a shit if people are watching it or not. I'm gonna do episode by episode reviews of Future Man. That's a great show. It really is. I can't really do a season dump of that. There's just no way. Hey, Apple Crow. All right. So, how did everyone else like it? Everyone else like this episode or not? Or hasn't watched it yet? Or what's going on? Just here for the ambiance because you're trapped, in inside. Yeah, pen. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. Quite honestly. So speaking of the rest of the season, what else do I have going on? Tomorrow is Dispatches from Elsewhere. The excellent Dispatches from Elsewhere on AMC. I'm going to be doing that. Tuesday is going to be Project Blue Book. It's the penultimate episode before the season finale of Project Blue Book. And Wednesday and Thursday I'm off. Friday is Clone Wars, Star Wars, The Clone Wars. Saturday is Saturday Morning Blast Off, and then we come back around again to Westworld on Sunday. Yeah, that self-driving bike was kind of cool. Yeah. Well, it's 2058. You would think that they would have it makes sense they don't have any flying cars by 2058. It's just those you know, hover what is it? Those yeah, those hovercraft looking kind of things. But yeah. I did like the technology. I also like the holograms of people that show up when you're calling people and they look like they're standing right there in front of you. So, yeah. I feel like I've seen I just saw that bike, the self-driving bike in, Hobbs& and Shaw. Hobbs& and Shaw got released last night on HBO. It's the fucking most ridiculous movie I've ever seen, but, Idris Elba's character has a self-driving bike like that pulls up to him and has his helmet sitting on the back waiting for him. Yeah. And yes, there appeared to be a lots of wealth, exactly. Yeah, you didn't see any homeless people. I'm like, "This is LA, right? That's supposed to be LA? Isn't there are no homeless people anymore, or what's going on?" And I'm trying to think, that's 38 years in the future, possibly. Highly doubtful considering, what's happening right now, which, I think the world economy is pretty much gonna take a big hit from this, but hey, there we go. That's what I want more of, more than the hovercraft. Lots of wealth. Fonobi made the comment that there were few cars. Yeah, well, that's the other thing too, is that you see. Well, I don't know if it's just because they're self-driving cars. So now that you can just get a rideshare car, is what it is. You don't own a car, or only the rich own cars, and the rest of the people, um, take them as public transit, if you will. That's a good question, Joe Greer. If it's 10 or 8 episodes, I don't know for sure. Let's check out IMDb and see what it says, which normally it's kind of crap when it tells you that kind of stuff. Westworld. Excuse me. Yeah, it's been. My lungs are not doing all that well with this shit going on. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 episodes. Ha ha ha. 8 episodes of Westworld season 3. There you go. I realized as I was counting, I was doing the count. So fuck it. I was just gonna roll with it. I like shorter seasons, to tell you the truth. Shorter seasons actually, I don't know why, but somewhere down the line, someone thought 13 episodes was the uh, the end all be all of where episodes should be for a season, and that's what hurt a lot of the Netflix Marvel series because they didn't have enough story in order to fill those 13 episodes. So they had a lot of filler in some of those things, a lot of filler, and I think that's what hurt them pretty badly. Doing 8 to 10 episodes is a lot better. Yeah. That's not Drano, by the way, Viking bitch. That is called Pedialyte. Dun dun dun. This episode sponsored by this is Pedialyte Advanced Care. So I was feeling a little dehydrated of the dehydration, so I picked up a little Pedialyte. It was horrible, Cordell. Never gonna watch it again. I'm kidding. It was actually pretty good. You thought it was blue curacao? No, I wouldn't have it in a plastic bottle if that was the case. I would have a blue Hawaii if it was a blue curacao with an umbrella and some sprigs of pineapple and speaking a little bit like Bing Crosby. How would you like me to beat you with a bag of Valencia oranges? It's just a bad one. Looks like a mouthwash bottle. Yeah, it does kind of look like a mouthwash bottle. It's supposed to be for basically, it's supposed to look like a medical bottle, if you will, in a way. It's supposed to help you like medicine or something. And that's really what it is. It's just electrolytes. It's better than Gatorade. It's a lot better than Gatorade. This is actually formulated by doctors and stuff like that. So it helps you when you are dehydrated, and it helps quite a bit. So, um, yeah. Apple Crow says it's good to hear the first episode is good. I might hold out on re-upping HBO though. Oh, well, HBO Max comes out in May, Apple Crow, and that's when they're going to have the whole DC lineup in there too. They're going to have the Green Lantern series. They're going to have a bunch of stuff that's in there. Yeah. That's right. It's got the electrolytes. It's got the things plants crave. I figured we're in an idiocracy society, so what the fuck? Might as well just drink electrolytes, right? Will Harley Quinn go over to that? Probably not Apple Crow because it starts up in April, season 2. So they're going to keep it at DC Universe. But like I said, I don't think DC Universe is going to last all too long. I think DC Universe is going to get folded into HBO Max. So yeah, I think that's just going to end up happening, which is a shame because DC Universe is its own animal and needs to be kept that way. Yeah. I still have DC Universe. I still, look at stuff on there. Yeah, and Stargirl starts up in May on DC Universe, of all things. So obviously, I guess they're going to keep it through May. They've already announced plans that Stargirl starts on May 11th. I believe that was on an episode of Saturday Morning Blast Off. It wasn't yesterday's Saturday Morning Blast Off, but last week's Saturday Morning Blast Off where I mentioned that. There we go. Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to season 2 of Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol is going out on DC Universe is what they said. But like I said, it's AT&T. AT&T owns it now. They are assholes. They also said DirecTV Now is going nowhere, and now they are not supporting DirecTV Now and are pushing AT&T Now or something like that. So, yeah. See ya, Cordell. Have fun watching the episode. Yeah, I think you're out. Yeah, you're out here on the West Coast as well, or someplace around there. So, yeah. Yeah, of course we go completely off topic. That's the way it goes here. So let me start wrapping things up. You just got the notification, Apple Crow. Nice. Considering I set this thing up, what was it? like around 6:15 p.m., I believe is when I sent it out. Well, actually, the YouTube video chat and all that stuff that I set up, I already set that up just before 6 p.m. because I was scrambling to set everything up. I had a phone call that ran later than I thought it was going to. I didn't realize what the time was and had to pull everything together. I'm actually surprised I got a good thumbnail out of it and everything because I was really kind of scrambling. All right, everybody. I'm gonna let you guys go for the night. Thank you to everyone to join me tonight in the chat. Thank you if you made it this far in the video. And remember, if you're still on the fence about joining up, take a look at the very end of this video. You're gonna see a video pop up here. And if you like it, hit the subscribe button. Also up here is going to be Saturday Morning Blast Off, which is up there. Take a look at the schedule on suspendedfanimation.com. Also, all the links to everything is on suspendedfanimation.com. Like, share, and subscribe down there. And I will see you tomorrow for Dispatches from Elsewhere. That's what it was. I couldn't remember what day it was all of a sudden. Dispatches from Elsewhere, which is on AMC. I will see you then. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may find out that Dolores has made a double of you and she's thinking of replacing you right away because she's a vengeful god. She is not a happy god. Thanks, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. Have a good night.